G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to Star Citizen with Mags, and welcome once again to Grim Hex. Yes, Mags has been a very naughty boy again. Ignore the top left hand corner of my screen where it's not showing a criminal rating. I actually do have one at the moment, but I have a UI glitch that's not displaying the exact number. Thankfully I know exactly what it is. At the moment I am a Class 5 criminal. That is to say that I have the highest criminal ranking that you can currently get in the game, and I am currently being hunted by everybody. I have the most wanted public nuisance tag on me that tells everybody in the galaxy where I am, providing that Relay Station 275 is still active, which at the moment I don't think it actually is, which is a good start. Anyways, it's actually going to be very useful that that's not up, because I would hate to be attacked in the middle of this one, because I'm not going to be flying out a combat ship. No, with the upcoming Citizencon, I have been going through all of my ships and trying to decide which ones to keep and which ones to melt. For those of you who are unaware how this works, I should probably have a talk about this. All the ships you see here, I don't actually own all of them. A lot of them are loaners that I've gotten because people have used my code to sign up. I get access to these for the duration of the alpha and beta, basically. Once they go, they leave. There's only a couple of those that are genuinely mine. Anyways, as you saw, and as we've summoned in, actually if I go... I can't get over the railing. If I go around here, drop down the stairs, it looks like it's spawned on pad 1, which puts it right on the other side of that airlock, which is much safer to go to. And use? Come on. Thank you. Anyways, the Reliant Kore. I'm going to look over this one now because I'm probably not going to have this ship in about a week. Once Citizencon rolls around, generally there are discounts and sales and all sorts of fun stuff going on. Ships that aren't normally on sale come on sale again. All sorts of wonderful stuff happens for those that are interested in investing into a bigger piece of equipment for the future of Star Citizen. And I've already sort of found that Reliant Kore, it's a wonderful ship, but it's not going to suit my needs when the game goes live. Now, I'll talk more about the ship later. I just want to quickly get on this thing first and get this ship rolling, because Grim Hex is a free fire zone once you walk out of the airlock, which means I can be attacked at any time by anything, and it's often camped, so... We quickly get this off the deck. I'll actually skip out to the end once I've got this thing off the ground. Come on, there we go. Ooh, I hate how it does that. Why does it do that? Right, flick to the external camera, and for those of you who haven't seen it before, let's go from takeoff and landing mode into flight mode, which is one press of this key. There we go. The wing units rotate around the core axes of the spacecraft. The pilot's position stays in the top position. The co-pilot switches from the right-hand side to underneath. And the engines rotate from VTOL mode into primary thrust mode, and off we go. So, the Reliant Kore. It is a beautiful ship design, and it is fantastic. The animations on it are wonderful. The visibility out of the cockpit is among the best ships in the game. So why am I getting rid of it? Well, it comes down to what it is. The Reliant Kore is a mini hauler. It's a micro-cargo ship. It's got a 30-unit capacity, although that is debatable. We'll get to that a little bit later on. It's only lightly armed, it's reasonably fast, 210 standard speed, or 210 meters per second. On cruise it'll get out to 610, so it's reasonably mobile, and it's reasonably maneuverable too. For a size 3 ship, this thing, it turns fairly well. Its cruise speed maneuverability is not fantastic, but nothing is. But in standard maneuvering mode, in standard combat speeds, it's pretty nippy for what it is across the board. As I said, two-seater. The pilot obviously controls the main guns and flies the ship. The co-pilot operates, well, is meant to, currently the console in it doesn't work, but is meant to operate a turret, which is mounted on the left-hand wing, which I believe rotates through to the top wing in flight mode. It can carry up to a size 3 weapon, although as standard it's meant to carry a size 2 tractor beam, but that's not functional. That could add some interesting utility to the ship, but we'll come back to that again a little bit further on. So, overall with the Kore ship itself, I'm not disappointed in it at all. It's a fantastic ship, and it is pretty much everything that it says on the box, with a one question mark. Unfortunately, it's not a ship that's big enough to suit my needs, and I'm never going to fly anything that's this small in the main game, so it's going to pass on to something larger. Now, as much as I do like the ship, it does have some negatives, which is what we have to talk about today. So, first things first, let's talk weapons. The primary armaments on the Reliant Kore are two fixed mount size 1 lasers. These are bearing M3A laser cannons. There's nothing particularly interesting about them. They're common, they're on half the ships in the game, and as I said, they're fixed mount. Now, only having size 1 weapons on board is actually not a negative, and the mounts can only hold size 1 weapons, so you can't upgrade these to anything bigger. This is not a problem. The Reliant Kore is not supposed to be getting into dogfights. The weapons are there for emergency situations. You're meant to be running. You're a cargo ship. That's your purpose. But there is a problem with the layout. You see, if you're going to be forced into a situation where you need to use laser cannons to defend your ship, it's probably going to be happening at close range. Somebody is going to be trying to board you, either trying to take your ship, or at the very least take your cargo.
Please keep moving.
Yep, that's Crusader security. So I have to keep moving here because I'm a 5-star wanted criminal, and they are about to start spamming lots of missiles in my direction. The shipping hub. I've never actually been to the shipping hub before. I keep meaning to go. I mean, a cargo ship. This seems like an appropriate time. Is there any missions for it? Kill Kara security. PI wanted reduced. Yeah, I don't have time to have a look. Quantum jump. Anyways, as I was saying, the weapons, size 1, we cannot get any bigger than size 1. They are fixed mount. When somebody's trying to board you, that's when you're going to be using them. And it's going to be fairly close quarters combat, because the ships that are trying to board you need to get close in order to do that. And this is where the first problem comes in. The fixed mounts on the Reliant Kore, being fixed guns, can't move. They're not gimbaled. They fire directly forward. This means they have a convergence. Okay, this is interesting. Yeah, this means they have a convergence. The convergence is about 800 to 1,000 meters. It's not listed anywhere in the game, but I've sort of assessed it by firing shots at dummy targets.
You are trespassing on Kovalek's private property.
Maybe I shouldn't have come here. This is all looking very interesting. I'm a 5-star wanted criminal. I don't care about your trespassing warnings. Oh, this place is messed up. That front window's blown out, the landing pads. Yeah, as you can see, the cockpit rotating around the central hub of the ship there. Bring this in for landing. Ooh, bit too much. And drop it straight down, and we should get a lock. It's not lighting up. The pad itself isn't lighting up as a landable object, though, which is...
Landing successful.
No, it wasn't. I'm drifting off the pad.
Launch sequence complete.
This is strange. Move it over a bit. I might be stuck on some debris here. See if we can bring it back down. Still doesn't seem right. You can always tell when this thing's off center when you bring it in for landing, or if it's the wings are caught on something, because the wings hang so far out the sides and the ship's so low to the ground. If anything clips, you can tell straight away. Yeah, it looks like the wing might be touching some debris on the far side, and neither of the landing gear are actually... No, it's not touching debris. I'm just levitating off the pad. Yeah, that's about as close as we're going to get it. Fantastic view inside the ship via the cockpit there, too. Come on. Should probably spend more time concentrating on what I'm doing rather than trying to talk and admire the view inside my ship. Stuff it. I think that's close enough. And yeah, I'll just have a quick jump in the passenger seat and we'll have a quick look through the layout of the ship here. Yeah, we'll look in the passenger seat first. And nothing actually happens when you jump into it at this point. Some panels fold down when it's live, but there's nothing that's controllable here at the moment, which is unfortunate. This will eventually be the tractor beam and possible laser defensive turret control, but for the moment, this seat unfortunately doesn't work. Actually, before we go back to the guns, I should probably have a look through the rest of the ship. So, rear of the ship. This is one of those question marks that popped up. The cargo capacity on the Reliant Kore is supposed to be 30 units of cargo. Now, according to SIG on the new item system, 1 unit of cargo is exactly 1 square meter. That's fine. Now we have a measurement that we can work with. So using the inside of the ship and its dimensions as a template with a 1 square meter block as a 1 unit of cargo, turns out there's actually not enough room in the back of this ship. Oh, there's no gravity on this pad. Okay. Turns out there is not enough space in the back of this ship unless you block up access to the cockpit to actually fit 30 units of cargo inside of this ship. So I expect either the amount of cargo that this ship is capable of carrying is going to be reduced on the website, or the tail section of this is going to be increased in size, unless there is a spot on the ship that hasn't been explained yet where you can mount external cargo. As I said, it's a really good looking ship though. Anyways, while we're over the wings, it seems appropriate to go back to the weapons conversation we were having before. Now the weapons are based about where we are off the centre of the cockpit right now on the underside of the wings. They're over half the length of the wing from the central fuselage. Now, because the guns are spaced so wide and you want to be able to get both guns on a target, they have to have a convergence. That's a point where if you fire the shots, the two lasers will eventually meet at a certain distance away from the ship. Now, I fired at a few test targets and had a few people volunteer to get shot at inside of the PU. And I'm estimating, it's not a perfect guess, but the convergence is somewhere between 800 and 1,000 meters. Cool, that makes sense. The problem comes when somebody gets closer than that, the kind of distances that somebody who's trying to board you will be at. Inside of 400 meters, if you put the targeting pipper on the nose of a Super Hornet, you actually can't hit the Super Hornet with your top or bottom guns. You have to angle the ship down or up in order to get at least one gun on the target. Which means in a close-range emergency situation where you need your guns to defend yourself, you only have 2 size 1 lasers and you will only be able to make one of them effective because the other one, well, the target is going to be inside of the convergence range. Wow.
The station is currently off limits. Please vacate the area.
Okay, why haven't I come here before? I'm getting all sorts of thoughts to the Gamescom version 3 demo here inside the Starfarer. This place is a wreck. Doors. Nope, no. That one there's sealed off. There's an orange panel on that one over there. Active computers. Nothing. Looks like the entire station's been decompressed. We've got shrapnel floating in space. Something beeping over here. Is one of these computers live? Oh, there's a use option just here. What the
Hey Darnell, it's Racine over at Corporate Ops. Give me a shout back when you clock in. Just wanted to follow up a bit on the distro issue. Talk to you in a bit. Bye. Darnell, Racine again. Still need to sync up about the power distribution problem. Where are you, man? Getting tired of waiting, Darnell. Call me.
Alright, so I've just spent about 10 minutes inside of this station poking around the top, and I've decided that I do not want to show this off just yet. I want to come back here and have a good look at this when I'm not trying to do a little bit of a chat about the Reliant Core that has floated off the station pad, although that shouldn't surprise me. It wasn't magnetized or stuck to the pad in any way. Yeah, it looks like there's a bit of a mystery inside there, and I think I'm going to make another video about that separately, but that is really cool. I don't know why I haven't been here before. Anyways, we're above the ship at the moment, so we're going to have to open up the door and drop in from above. But yes, as I was saying before, I've had to cut out 10 minutes of footage here. The guns on the Reliant Core, when the point where you would need them would be in a close range engagement with somebody trying to board you, but the problem with them is, get kicked out. That can sometimes happen when you're trying to move between the physics grids for the first time. Now it's loaded, I should be able to slip in smoothly. Beautiful. And we'll shut up the door, and we'll get this show back on the road. Yeah, the problem is, anytime somebody gets within about 400 meters of you, you cannot hit them with both guns. And your guns are particularly light anyway, so they're just not effective. which is an issue. Now, the second problem is the ship's design itself. As I'm sure you've noticed by now, the Reliant Kore has basically a two-seater bubble cockpit, which rotates around, a central axis position, which the engines and the wings mount off, and then the cargo bay at the back. That's all the central core of the ship actually consists of. There's nothing else to the ship. So, where are all the cooling systems, the reactors, and the thrusters to actually make the thing maneuver and power everything? Well, they're in the wings, top and bottom of the ship. The problem is, those wings are extremely large, as you can see, and they are very, very, very easily destroyed. If one of these wings gets destroyed, and it will, you'll lose not only half of your maneuvering thrusters, which are based on the wing, one of your primary weapons. In the case of the top wing, you also lose the gimbal mount, which, again, we'll come back to that in just a few seconds, and you lose the power to one of your engines. Each engine is powered off the reactor on the side that is powered by the wing. This means you have a loss of one wing is a catastrophic loss of control of the spacecraft. You cannot recover from it. And simply smashing the wing into another ship or coming in on landing and forgetting to set yourself into landing mode is enough force to break the wings off. However, you can destroy both of them, and if you destroy the other wing, it shuts down the other engine, stops all of the other maneuvering thrusters, and effectively shuts down the ship completely. Pirates are going to absolutely love this, because it makes for a nice, easy target that you can destroy that will not put the rest of the ship at risk, allowing for both an easy disable of the vessel and a very simple and easy recovery of its cargo. Now, these things are rather large vulnerabilities. The lack of defense inside of 400 meters, as well as these large vulnerable wings, yeah, not ideal. This thing shouldn't be put into combat. It's not what it's designed for, and it is very, very, very vulnerable to potential attacks in that situation. However, this is the part where we come back to that little gimbal turret mount on the end of the left wing. Now, it can be fit with a weapon as far as I understand it, and it will take a Class 3, which gives it some substantial punch. If that is a full turret setup, it will be able to fire in a full arc, and because it sits on the very tip of the wing, will be able to fire down at some pretty extreme angles when it's working, allowing to solve a lot of the problems with the convergence. You won't be able to get your size 1s on target, but you'll be able to smash the target with a size 3, providing somebody is in the co-pilot seat in order to aim it. That would solve some of the Reliant Kore's weapons problems. Now, also on the website at the moment, it's listed as carrying a size 2 tractor beam. That could allow the Reliant Kore to operate as a sneaky little salvage vessel, which would be a very interesting role for it and give it a whole new dynamic. One where it doesn't have to worry about combat. It sneaks into the remnants of a battlefield, scoops up whatever it can find, and then just gets the hell out of there if anything gets detected as moving and alive. It could be fun. So fun that I will probably buy another Reliant Kore if that is the case, once the game goes live for in-game money. However, for the moment, it's just not going to be a practical starting ship. And that's honestly the only reason I'm getting rid of it. And sadly, it's not going to be alone. It's probably also going to be joined by my Gladius, which I will show in an upcoming video. Anyways, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found the information about the Reliant Kore interesting. I don't take the negatives on it as it being a bad ship. It's just stuff to be aware of. Every ship has its downsides as well as its upsides. Those are the downsides of the Reliant Kore. The only reason it is being replaced is because it is going to become part of the base funding for probably a Constellation Aquila at this point. That is, of course, unless the Carrot goes back on sale or I decide to lose my mind and go for a Polaris. But in either of those two cases, if I do that, my wife is probably going to have me sleeping on the couch for the next 3 years. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already and would like to see more of this content. Fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you around the verse.